So I'm taking apart and cleaning up this Lethal Weapon gearbox here for the 91 World's prototype car, and I just wanted to make a quick video here on the ball diff because it's kind of neat, and it is a different design from the stealth ball diff that you see in a typical RC10. So as you know, the Lethal Weapon gearbox is a belt drive gearbox. Okay, so you have this input shaft with this input pulley, and then that pulley goes around this roller, which would otherwise be your idler gear in a stealth gearbox. So the pulley kind of routes around it like that, and then the diff pulley here on the bottom is what this guy is. Okay, and all the dirt that you see in here, all that black stuff, I think that's just from the belt wearing over time, because it's like this powdery substance that this sort of black, dust is inside the gearbox. So that should be pretty easy to brush off. It does brush off pretty easily from the diff pulley. So this pulley was looking actually pretty dirty and pretty black. So you just take a brush like this guy, you just brush it off. Maybe use some simple green and really scrub on it, but it comes off pretty easily. And then what happens is this half here of the outdrive is fastened to let's say this second half of the left half of the diff. I think it's the left half. Yes, the left half. And then that goes on with these three little Phillips screws here. So you take that off, okay, and underneath that you have your thrust bearing. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Now what's interesting to me is that this thrust bearing here uses significantly larger thrust balls than a stealth gearbox, or really most ball diffs, whether they're vintage or modern. I don't quite remember the size, or I don't recall the size of these diff balls, but they're maybe something like 332s. 332 would be about that wide, or 5/64. They're kind of chunky, and there's 8 of those, right? And they go around here, where you see that sort of greasy band there on the bottom. That's I just rebuilt this, so that's where those balls go. And then you have a pressure plate on one side, and then on the other side, and then you have a bunch of washers here, which appear to be spring washers to help give you some tension. Then that all goes through, and then inside this diff outdrive on the other side, there is a lock nut. So I guess the way that this thing was made, there's a little sort of encasement for that lock nut to just sit in there, which is really cool. And so you just drive the thrust bolt through, and it screws into that lock nut. The actual internals of the ball diff itself are, nothing particularly special. You just got diff balls and diff rings. The diff rings are slotted, so they do lock into the outdrives. Okay. But I just thought that thrust bearing was really cool, and figured I'd just make a quick video of that. So this is almost rebuilt. I just got to close this off, and this will be done. Then I have to clean up the gearbox here. I do have some, this appears to be the original slipper hub assembly pieces for this gearbox, which would make it look a bit more like this when it's completed. Okay, so I have to do that too. Hopefully I have all the pieces in here. And yeah, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.